What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk with Hawk. I am Hawk, and today we do the Norse AFC and NFC North schedules, what it looks like in 2024 for each one of the teams, um, fan favorites of 2023, Detroit Lions, young Green Bay Packers. What type of year will the Minnesota Vikings have? Will they bounce back? Is it going to become a three-way gauntlet at the top? Lots of questions heading into 2024. On the AFC side, does Mike Tomlin do voodoo? And is that the reason that somehow the Steelers end up winning or in the playoffs? Or anything else to that effect? The Bengals, will Joe Burrow come back stronger, faster, more alert? Will he be better? Will the Ravens continue their dominance? They made the championship game. Let's just be real here. They made the championship game. A team with that many injuries made the game. And then honestly, the defense kind of failed them. Yes, I know the offense sucked. But really, that first half, they could have held Kansas City to no points if they would have played the same game plan both halves. So we got a lot of storylines coming in. Will Cleveland use 7 quarterbacks next year? Or are they going to stick with only 5? It's going to be an interesting one. But we're going to start out with the division winners. Now, for those of you who did not listen to the last podcast, quick rundown of how the schedule works. With a 17-game schedule now, you play 2 divisions, one from the AFC and one from the NFC. You play the entire division. That's 8 games. You play home and away in your own division. That's 6 games. There's 14. And then it rotates the NFC division that you will play. And then you play your basically comparison in the AFC. So, using the Ravens as an example, we're going to go through the home and the away opponents. The first we do at home. Home against the Bengals, the Browns, the Steelers. Then the Baltimore Ravens, the AFC North, plays the entire AFC West this year. They have home games against the Broncos and the Raiders. Then they also play the entire AFC East this year. They have home games against the Eagles and the Commanders. And then they play the top seed, because that's what the Ravens were, the top seed in the AFC South and the AFC East. And then they'll play the top seed of, looks like this year it is the NFC South. So they do not play an NFC West team. So to recap real fast, home team, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. Home against the Broncos, the Raiders, the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Bills. Honestly, 7-1 at minimum. I mean, truthfully, 7-1 at minimum. The only game that is going to be a question is going to be potentially the Bills and Eagles, depending on how they're at. Potentially the Bills and Eagles, depending on where those teams are stacked. Now, they are on the road for the Bengals, Browns, and Steelers, as usual. They are at the Cowboys. They are at the Kansas City Chiefs. They are at the Los Angeles Chargers. They are at the New York Giants, at the Texans, and at the Buccaneers. Road schedule is a little different. It's a lot of road games. They're going to be big time matchups. Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, Texans. Those 4 games by themselves. That's 4 games that could be prime time, prime slot. I would love to see the Ravens and Chargers in a Sunday night football game. The brothers face each other right away. That would be a game to open the year. A game that can be wiped under the rug. That's an opening Sunday night football game. That is what that is right there. That is an opening Sunday night football game. NFL, I hope you, for some strange reason, listen to this one podcast. The Ravens and Chargers to open the year in sunny California. That's the game. That's the game to open the year. Sunday night football. Honestly, 12 and 5 is probably a solid pick for what their record's going to be. Potentially 13 and 4 again. It depends on if the defense can stay healthy. We got to give the new defensive coordinator time to be able to get into his own. But really, you're looking at in division, they're going to lose 1, maybe 2. And then I think outside division, maximum 3. So I'm going to go 12 and 5 at first glance before the draft and everything else takes place. All right, the Cleveland Browns, miraculous 11 and 6 record, starting 5 different quarterbacks, winning with 4 of them. They have home dates against the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers, like usual. They're home against the Cowboys, home against the Giants, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Dolphins. They get the Cowboys at home. The Chiefs I'm not as worried about, but then they also get the Chargers at home. Year number 1 of Jim Harbaugh, I think it's going to be a lot of a Dallas Cowboy, Houston Texan, Miami Dolphin type scenario. There's going to be the home Chargers and the road Chargers. That's kind of where I think it's going to go. Do I think they're going to be that bad on the road? Not bad, but it won't be the same team. So I do think the Browns do get somewhat of a scheduling break with where they're at. Honestly, they could really pull out 6-2 there at home. Lose to the Ravens. And then they're either going to lose to the Chiefs, the Cowboys, or the Chargers. Probably Chiefs. They could go 5-3. I'm going to say road Chargers and road Cowboys don't get it done in Cleveland, but KC will. Yeah, I think I'm going to go 6-2. All right, their road dates: the Ravens, the Bengals, the Steelers. Then they're on the road against the Broncos and the Raiders. On the road against the Eagles, the Commanders, the Jaguars, and the New Orleans Saints. Jacksonville and New Orleans. Now, I don't like New Orleans, but the Saints at home are a different team than on the road as well. Philadelphia concerns me. I don't think Denver's going to be all that great, especially if Jarrett Stidham is the quarterback. I don't foresee them being much better than 6-11, 7-10, maybe. So let's go 2 division losses on the road. Lose at Jacksonville and at Philadelphia. So you're going 5-4 and 6-2. So yeah, they'll be 11-6. First look at it, I see 11-6. Is exactly what I see. Obviously, no draft. But remember, if you guys remember from the Draft Capital series, they don't have any draft capital. They have 542 points in draft capital. They don't got any. And they don't have a bunch of cap space. So I don't know what this team's going to be next year. This is off of what the team could be right now. I don't know what it's going to be next year. In August, we'll give the official one. Who knows? It may change. All right. Pittsburgh Steelers went somehow. Went 10-7. They've got home games against the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Browns in the division. They are home against the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Giants, and the Jets. Like I said, the Cowboy-Steeler game, when we did the Cowboy schedule yesterday, that game needs to be Monday Night Football. At least Sunday Night Football. That needs to be. It needs to be. It needs to be. I mean, come on, man. Come on. It's got to be. Chiefs at home. It's an interesting one. I don't know what Kansas City's going to be. I don't think they're going to have Jones. I think they'll be able to sideline L'Jarius Sneed, but I don't think they're going to have Chris Jones. Road Cowboys, and if it's prime time, I'm picking Steelers at home prime time. Steelers will beat the Jets and the Giants at home probably. Lose to the Ravens, lose to the... They always play the Ravens tough. I'll say they beat the Ravens. I'll say they'll go 3-3. I think they lose. They'll lose the road. I think they'll win at home. It's a division game. I like the Arthur Smith addition on offense, but I don't believe in any of the quarterbacks. Same thing. The Chargers are on the road, but what type of Charger team are you going to get on the road? I don't think this Charger team is going to lose to the Steelers on the road. The Browns are a better all-around team than the Steelers are, by far. So I think the Chargers beat them. I think the Chiefs beat them. Cowboys, it'll be close. Cowboys probably beat them. The Jets probably beat them with Aaron Rodgers in that defense. Only reason I can go 3 wins is because of the division. Yeah, let's just stick with that. We're going to go 4-4 at home. 4-4 at home. All right, their road opponents. They got the Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns. Road against the Broncos, the Raiders, the Eagles, Commanders. On the road against the Colts and the Falcons. Falcons are great at home. They'll lose that one. Remember, I've got them losing all 3 division games. There's 4 losses. Eagles and Broncos, I'm going to say they will lose. Yeah. Commanders and Colts. Now, they have owned the Colts. This year is the first year the Colts beat the Steelers. Pre-draft, I'm going to say Steelers bounce back and probably beat them. Pre-draft. Commanders. Commanders. You know what? They'll beat the Broncos. Like I said, I don't know what the Broncos are going to be. I'll take the Commanders at home against the Steelers. That could be a really interesting game. And I'll take them to beat the Raiders on the road. So I'll take them in 2 games. So they're going to go 6-11. Yeah, 6-11. It's funny, all these things have to match up. I do have a website that I am able to use, which will be what I use come August. All right, Cincinnati Bengals. They are no longer the Bungles. They went 9-8 with their quarterback getting hurt. They went 9-8. They got home dates against the Ravens, the Browns, the Steelers. Home dates against the Broncos, the Raiders, the Eagles, Commanders, and a home date against the Patriots. You guys know I don't believe in the Patriots at all. That's going to be a W. Home against the Commanders. I believe the Commanders are going to be better at home than on the road. I got the Bengals winning that. Beating the Broncos, beating the Raiders. That Eagle game could be fun. Remember, we got the Steelers losing all their road games, so beating the Steelers at home. Ravens and Browns. You know what? Let's just go 6-2. They'll lose 2 of the 3. Between the Ravens, Browns, and Eagles, they'll lose 2 of the 3. So they'll go 6-2 at home. Now their road dates, Ravens, Browns, Steelers. On the road against the Cowboys and the Giants. The Chiefs, the Chargers, the Titans, and the Panthers. Now, this is going to be interesting. Brian Callahan knows this offense, but I don't believe in the Titans' defense. So I'm going to say wins over the Titans and the Panthers pretty easily. You know what? I'm going to go 1 win in their division between the Ravens and the Browns. Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers. They're going to beat the Giants. So there's 4. Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers. Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers. All of them are on the road. Without Dan Quinn, and we don't know who that defensive coordinator is going to be at this stage. And we don't know what the team's going to be because Dak Prescott has a $59 million cap hit. He's got to restructure so that they have money. But I don't think he will. All right, we're going to go with 1 division win. Then they beat the Giants, the Titans, and the Panthers, gives them 4 wins. So they're going to go 10-7. 10-7. That is my prediction early on for the Bengals. All right, that was the AFC North. Now we have the NFC North. We got the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings in division, the Jaguars and the Titans, the Rams and the Seahawks, the Buccaneers, and the Bills. They're not going to lose a division game at home again. I know what the Packers did last year. Listen, if the Lions make a trade that I think they should make, which is to go get Brian Burns from the Panthers for your first-round pick, get Brian Burns from the Panthers for your first-round pick, put him on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson, your pass rush becomes ultimately lethal. Use the draft to get your secondary help, and then strengthen your receiving core. Because you got tight ends, you may draft another one in the 5th or 6th, but you got your tight ends, so you're not in danger of any of that. So the Lions at home, it's a dangerous team to be facing at home. Very dangerous. You know what? I will take them. Man, doggone it. Doggone it. I will take them over the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings. There's 3. I want to watch the Jacksonville game between the Lions and Jaguars. I think that'll be fun. They'll beat the Seahawks, the Titans, and the Bucks. So there's 6 wins for sure. The Rams, the Jaguars, the Bills. Rams, the Jaguars, the Bills. They'll win one of those. One or two. They'll win 1 or 2. The Rams are going to be really good. Rams are going to be really good. They'll win one of those 3. So they'll go 7-2 at home. 7-2 at home. Their road schedule is the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings, usual. Cardinals, Texans, Colts, 49ers, Cowboys. They'll beat the Colts. They will most likely beat the Cardinals. Probably beat the Bears. And probably beat the Vikings. The reason I say that is I don't know how much I believe in the Vikings bouncing back that much. They got to get a running back. They got a lot of holes in their defense to be able to shore up. I think this is the year you bring Kirk Cousins back. You keep everything kind of copacetic. You play around for a wild card, but understand you're still trying to rebuild the team just while not losing, kind of like the Rams did. So I think they'll lose on the road in Green Bay, win the other 2, so there's 2 wins. Cardinals, 3 wins. Colts, 4 wins. So they'll go 4-4 on the road. So I see them going 11-6. I see them going 11-6. The Niners, the Cowboys, the Texans, the Packers. I see those as up front. I see those as loss. Actually, you know what? I don't see the Cowboys as a loss. They'll win 12 again. They'll go 12-5. They will get revenge and they will beat the Cowboys. They will beat the Cowboys. All right, the Packers. After a surprising year, kudos to Matt LaFleur. Home against the Bears, the Lions, the Vikings. They are home against the Cardinals, the Texans, the Colts, 49ers, Saints, and Dolphins. They get a good scheduling break, getting a lot of dome teams up in Lambeau. And honestly, I think they win. I think they win most of them. The Vikings and Packers always seem to split, so we're going to split the series with them. I'm going to say Packers win at home, lose on the road. Beat the Cardinals at home, beat the Colts at home, beat the Saints at home. They'll beat the Dolphins at home. Beat the Bears at home. I said they were going to beat the Lions at home. So they'll go 3-0 in this one. They'll go 3-0 division, 4 with the Cardinals, 5 with the Colts, 6 Saints, 7 Miami. So they'll go 7-2 at home. I got them losing to the Niners and the Texans. I think year 2 Texans on the road will be a lot better than year 1 Texans on the road. All right, the road, Bears, Lions, Vikings. We already know we're taking only the Bears win, losing at Detroit and losing at Minnesota. Then they're also on the road against Jacksonville, Tennessee, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Eagles. They'll beat Tennessee. There's a second win. So between between the Jaguars, Rams, Seahawks, Eagles, I'll give them one win. So beat the Bears, beat the Titans on the road. I'll give them one more win. They're going to go 3-5 on the road. I'll give them one more win between those 4 games. Eagles, Rams, Seahawks, Jags. And that will give them a 10-7 year. That will give them a 10-7 year. All right, the Vikings. Question marks really do abound on what they're going to do defensively. They need a running back. They've got 2 really good receivers. Do they try to draft a quarterback, or do they try to ride the Kirk Cousins train as long as they can? They have to make a choice. And honestly, this is the offseason to do it, because you missed the playoffs and you are in a position to trade a player and a pick to be able to move up. You are in that position. So you definitely could go after a rookie quarterback here. But for now, with what we got, they got home games against the Bears, the Lions, the Packers, Cardinals, 49ers, the Texans, the Colts, the Falcons, and the Jets. Now, keeping with the theme, yes, I know I'm dogging on the Bears. Deal with it. Deal with it. I don't think the Bears improve. I think their defense is going to be good. I don't think the Bears improve enough offensively to be able to really do much, especially if they go with a rookie quarterback. I don't necessarily trust that offensive line the way it is right now. Yes, the Bears have beaten the Vikings before. So we did say we were going to give the Packers a win and the Vikings a win. I'm going to do the same with the Bears, actually. So the Vikings will go 2-4 in their division is what I'm looking at. But they get home wins against the Bears and the Packers, probably the Cardinals, probably the Falcons. There's 4. They'll lose to the Lions and the Niners. The Texans, Colts, Jets. Texans, Colts, Jets. Texans, Colts, Jets. Man. I want to say they lose 5 at home. They beat the Bears, they beat the Packers, they beat the Cardinals, they beat the Falcons. I want to say they go 4-5 at home. It's my gut feeling, 4-5 at home. All right, on the road, they're winless in the division. The Bears, the Lions, the Packers. Then they got road tilts against the Jaguars, Rams, Seahawks, Titans, and Giants. I don't like where the Titans are at, so I'll give them a road win there. That's 5 wins, guys. I know I got the Giants beating them in the Meadowlands. That's 5-12. Just by looking at it, I think they need to have a down year. A legitimate down year. Not a down year because Kirk Cousins got injured. I think this may be the year. Maybe you don't re-sign Kirk Cousins. Maybe you give a 1-year deal, or listen to this idea. You help a team get rid of a quarterback, understanding what you're doing. Somebody who's going to, the contract's going to expire at the end of the 2024 season. The main thought is the Raiders are going to cut Garoppolo. Gardner Minshew's a free agent. You could potentially sign him cheap. Aiden O'Connell is not going to be the starter with the Raiders. So if you traded Aiden O'Connell and a 7th-round pick to the Vikings would probably give you back a 6th. Just running everything the way it is, you build your draft capital for 2025 draft. I think that's really the way you're going to have to build it right now. I think they got to have a down year. They've got to have a down year because the Packers reloaded. The Lions are going to be the cream of the division for the next 5-6 years. So you've got to reload, get ready, and go for something, go for broke in a sense. I would take a down year if I was the Vikings, understanding what's going on in the division. You're going to need to be able to regroup. 5-12. It's unfortunate, but 5-12 is kind of what I see right now. All right, the Bears. Yes, I dog on the Bears. I know. I'm aware. I know. I dog on the Bears. I did say they beat the Vikings at home. I did say that. So there's one win. They've got home matchups against the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings. We said we're going to give them one. We'll give them the Vikings. They are home against the Jaguars, the Titans, the Rams, Seahawks, Panthers, and Patriots. Not bad. So we got them beating the Vikings, beating the Panthers, beating the Patriots, and beating the Titans. 4 wins at home. They'll lose to Jacksonville, the Rams, and the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Packers. So it'll be 4-5. Same record as the Vikings at home. So 4-5 at home. The road. Their road tilts are against the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings. Then they are on the road against the Cardinals, on the road against the Texans, Colts, 49ers, and Commanders. Honestly, I don't see them winning any of those games on the road. I don't. Commanders, I think, are a better team. Cardinals at home, I believe in. 49ers, not a chance. Colts, we better beat them. Texans, better beat them. In division, could the games be close? Yeah, because it's in division. Yes, because it's in division. They could be close. But I'm saying no. They go 1-5 in the division, and they go 4-13. Four and 13. It's what I'm looking at right here. It's what I see. I see a team that's going to go 4-13, and Eberflus is going to get fired. And if they ran with Justin Fields is done, and they're going to be going after either Kyle McCord or Shadur Sanders, one of the two, with a new head coach, which could be one of a bunch of options. A bunch of options. And you know what? Let's close it out with that. I want you guys to think about this. And at the end of this season, now we're going into 2024. It hasn't opened yet. We still got the Super Bowl. I understand that. I get it. But looking ahead, you have Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick. You have potentially Deion Sanders, Lincoln Riley, maybe Brian Kelly. Yeah, I have heard some rumors that Kelly may be interested in getting out of college and going to the NFL. I have heard some of those. You've got some guys in college that could really do good. I think they'd be able to do good in the right situation. Like the Falcons for Raheem Morris, the reason I think he's going to have so much success so quickly is because the Falcons were already set up. Arthur Smith just struggled getting everything together. He stuck with Desmond Ridder for too long. You know, I was in agreement. We got to give the kid consistent starts. I'm tired of going off of 4 starts. Okay, do not ask me to make a decision on a quarterback in 4 starts in an NFL game, especially if 3 of them are on the road and 1 of them's at home. If the one game at home was okay and the 3 on the road weren't great, let's get him another start at home. Let's get him comfortable. Let's get him supported. I'm tired of 4 games defining a rookie's career. Will Levis, he won, he lost, but he kept you in the games. Derrick Henry disappeared a lot, and it's just a little bit different animal because you're not going to have Derrick Henry, so it's going to be a little different. But just think about the fact that you've got those 5 coaches, Lincoln Riley, Deion Sanders, Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll. I did just read as I was doing this, Mike Zimmer is going to be the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. That's an interesting move. That is a really interesting move. So I'm not totally sure exactly how it's all going to play out. But you know what? As I said all along, it's going to be exciting and it's going to be a lot of fun. So there you go, guys. That is the North, the AFC and the NFC North. That is the schedule opponents for 2024. I'm excited to see what the NFL does with some of these matchups that we're going to be able to see, what we're going to be able to watch. And I'm excited for the season to come. It's going to be a wild off season, and we're going to have plenty to talk about. We will talk about the NBA trade deadline maybe tomorrow. I don't want to run this podcast nearly as long as I did last night. It's not really what I want to do. I want to try to keep everything between 40 and 45 minutes. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you're on Spotify, thank you for coming by the channel. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button as it helps the channel out, and that bell so that you know when I release videos. The goal is to release 4 every single week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All right, guys, until next time, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk, and I'm out.